Do you remember this classic 80s movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah.
Good, age check. A quirky inventor accidentally shrinks his own kids, and suddenly their own backyard becomes this dangerous, oversized world. A sprinkler is torrential downpour, a bee is a giant monster, and a stray Lego is a mountain. Suddenly, everything is huge and dangerous. It completely changes your perspective on risk, right? What was normal and safe is now full of these overwhelming dangers you never saw before. What if I told you we do something similar here at Allegro? Not with our kids, but with our infrastructure. We intentionally shrink our data center and see what happens. Why? Because in our world, a network failure, a misconfigured server, can feel like a giant, angry scorpion attacking our platform. My name is Przemysław Lalak, I work at Allegro, and today I will be your guide through the backyard. My job is to find the scorpions before they find our customers. We are the largest marketplace of European origin, with 21 million active buyers, with over 163,000 merchants, selling more than 500 million offers every day. Behind the scenes, it's a beehive of activity. We have over 400 technical teams running more than 3,000 microservices. On average day, we see more than 150 deployments and over 8,000 configuration changes. A platform of that kind of velocity and scale, there's just no room for a downtime. The potential impact on users and the business is just immense. And so the things are going great every day. People, or millions of people using Allegro, buying and selling on the platform, and everything is just humming along. But what if unexpected strikes? We all have seen the headlines. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, even the biggest names in tech have faced massive data center outages. And these aren't just technical glitches. They cost millions in lost revenue and erode customer trust. Imagine you're trying to find a gift for your loved one's birthday tomorrow. You find the perfect thing on Allegro, you proceed to the checkout, and nothing happens. This is a potential scenario when a data center might go down. The stakes are incredibly high. We have to ensure our platform can withstand these turbulent conditions. Several years back, our CFO asked, why do we even need multiple data centers? Do we actually use all of them? And believe me or not, but the universe decided to answer that question for us in the most dramatic way, with a fire break in the data center. We didn't have to answer that question anymore. Everything was answered already by the universe. And the theoretical became very, very real. This is where our quest begins. It's called Project Osiris. The main goal of Osiris is to make sure losing an entire data center doesn't affect our services. We want to be able to simulate a complete power outage in one of our data centers without even users noticing. And we try to achieve that through chaos engineering, which is defined as experimenting on a system in order to build confidence in systems' capability to withstand turbulent conditions in production. Many people say chaos engineering is breaking things on purpose, but it's not about causing arbitrary failures. It's actually a structured experiment. Our experiment is built on hypothesis. When losing 1 out of n data centers, Allegro Marketplace should operate as usual. So how do you actually do something like this? You can't just flip the switch. Before we even think about shrinking a single server, our team goes through incredibly detailed preparation ritual. It's not about just technical checks, it's about aligning the entire organization. We treat it like a mission launch sequence, and every single item on this list must be ticked off. Only after ticking every single one of these boxes, we are ready to begin the experiment. This rigorous process is what allows us to learn from chaos without being consumed by it. And once it's all over, the very last step is to share the experiment summary with the stakeholders, completing the cycle of continuous improvement. Another very important and challenging item on this list is to finalize the services excluded from experiment, something we aim to reduce every single time. This is our service dependency graph. And don't worry if you can't read it, neither we could. This is our anthill, a complex, interconnected world which from a distance looks like complete chaos. Our job was to map it, understand it, and figure out how to navigate without getting lost. We have to decide when and where to stage our backyard adventure. You wouldn't like to shrink the kids' world just before big family barbecue, right? Similarly, you have to find the perfect time for our experiment. We have to navigate around major sales events like Black Friday, Christmas time, marketing campaigns, and other critical software releases. We look for a sweet spot, a period of time when there's lower business traffic, but still representative of a normal day. This ensures our test is meaningful without putting undue risk on the business. Initially, we would plan which data center will shut down in months in advance. But real-world disasters don't give you a heads up, right? So to truly test our readiness, from 2023, we moved into more advanced stage where we randomly pick the data center and we don't give the teams long prior notice. This makes everyone on their toes and forces us to build systems that are always ready for failure, not just for scheduled tests. Now, you don't just point a shrink ray at $1 billion marketplace without manual. Our manual is comprehensive checklist, but honestly, it's more like a movie screenplay. It details every single step of the experiment from start to finish, often timed down to a minute. And this isn't just a to-do list. It's our guide to creating controlled chaos. It specifies which services to shut down, in what order, and how to reroute the traffic. Each step has designated owner and specific time frame. This precision ensures that we know that we can distinguish between expected behavior and a real problem. After the performance test period, we don't just flip the power back on. We have a detailed restoration plan, similarly to the shutdown. We bring services back online in controlled sequence, verify the data is replicating correctly, and run health checks to make sure everything is stable before we announce end of the experiment. This screenplay is our most important tool. This is what turns a potentially disastrous event into a valuable, safe, and repeatable scientific experiment. We've built our own centralized monitoring service that acts as a single source of truth. Think of it as a watchtower that gives a complete view of the Allegro universe. From this one place, we can see the health of all our functionalities broken down by different marketplaces across various countries. It handles incident and outage reporting, communications, everything from a single UI. And once it's showtime, we first reroute the traffic from one of the data centers, gracefully shut down the services, and watch what happens. This is the first stage of our experiment out of a few. The next one is to run performance tests that simulates users on our platform, browsing, searching, buying products, etc. And in this new shrunken world, everyday backyard can suddenly become a dangerous jungle. And in every jungle, there are monsters. And for the kids in the movie, it was an ordinary scorpion that turned into a giant, deadly threat. For us, the scorpions are the unexpected failures and outages that crawl out of the systems when we put them under the stress. But facing these scorpions is the whole point of the experiment. Each attack, each failure is a lesson. It shines a spotlight on weaknesses we didn't know we had. And just like in the movie, the goal isn't just to survive the attack. It's to learn its weaknesses so we can build a safer path for the next journey through the backyard. Every battle with Scorpion leaves us with a trophy, a lesson learned. This chart is our trophy case. It shows all Scorpions we've cataloged and lessons we've learned from each encounter. Since last quarter of 2022, we introduced problem management process, and we track each one, making sure we're stronger and smarter before the next trip to the backyard. But this journey didn't happen overnight. Project Osiris has been a true expedition, one that has evolved significantly over the years. Let's walk through it. When we first started, our goal was simple: survive. Like the kids in the movie when they put their first tentative steps into the giant blades of grass. Our initial experiments were very controlled and limited in scope. We started with capacity tests first. On the first one, we literally destroyed Cassandra cluster, and Allegro went down. In the second one, we ran out of resources on application clusters, so the autoscaling couldn't work properly. But the third time worked like a charm, and we succeeded. Once we knew we could survive, we got bolder. The goal shifted from surviving to truly understanding and mapping out the entire terrain. Our main goal at that time was to shrink the exclusion list and tackle the technical debt from the years of accumulation. Looking back at 2023, that was the year we really started believing this initiative could succeed. We went from half of the data center in scope to over 90%. We introduced problem management, we added performance testing, we pushed Mongo migrations forward, and learned from other challenges. Osiris felt like it was a real part of our culture. By 2024, we felt like seasoned explorers. But the jungle always has something new in its pocket. The first experiment of the 2024, a hardware failure just before we started. It should have been a warning sign, but our ego pushed us forward. What followed was the longest, the messiest night in the backyard. A humbling reminder that you should never, ever underestimate the wild. One of the experiments that we're proud of was the last one in 2024. Before we pulled the plug, shutting down of some services gave us a trouble. After a moment, we lost notifications, then auctions started working, and we started losing vision in our monitoring tools. At that point, we had to stop the experiment before committing a full shutdown. After the first Osiris that year, we had learned the hard way that sometimes the best decision is to take a step back. This brings us to today, where Project Osiris is a mature, well-oiled machine. We're no longer just mapping the backyard, we're actively taming it. The list is now the smallest it has ever been, containing only the most complex architectural challenges that we're actively working on. As mentioned earlier, our experiments don't test sudden power loss. We do a graceful shutdown. Until this year, when we, for the first time ever, powered off a few racks completely. We had to bring the certified electrician to just flip the switches, but it was completely worth it. And this is a huge step for us, because it shows the ultimate goal of shutting an entire data center is not a dream anymore. This is the equivalent of the kids in the movie when they learned how to build a shelter that can withstand a real storm. And Osiris experiment has some surprising side effects too. Think of servers with long uptime as the old creaky trees in our jungle. They seem stable, but they're most likely to fall down in a storm. Our experiments are like controlled winds that help us to find these weak trees and fortify them before the real hurricane hits. You can see a drop in the long uptime servers on this graph. And unpatched kernels, that's like leaving your front door wide open. These regular drills, the Osiris experiment, force us to keep everything locked down and secure, closing any entry for the real bugs and creatures of the internet. Earlier this year, we had a post-outage meeting with one of our network teams discussing the root cause of the recent outage. And suddenly one of our colleagues asked like, guys, are we having a global outage? And I'm not joking. It looks like we are losing traffic tremendously fast. Before we managed to notice and look at each other, all our phones started going crazy with alerts. That was when the data dome went down in March this year. And we instantly lost more than half of the user traffic. And fun part about working in Allegro, which is one of the most recognizable brands in Poland, is that on our private phones, our family, relatives, friends started sending texts like, dude, what is happening? I can't log in. There's a captcha on my screen. What are you guys doing? And that was the moment we realized that our resilience isn't just about own infrastructure. Many critical parts depend on third-party vendors. So this year, we launched a new types of tests focused on vendor integration. And the first one targeted Data Dome. So what did we learn from shrinking our own backyard? We learned that scorpions, the unexpected failures, are our best teachers. We learned that by embracing chaos, we can build more resilient and reliable world for our customers. On one hand, the wins are undeniable. We've battle-tested our platform in the most realistic way possible. We know our systems inside and out, our teams are stronger, and we handle real incidents with confidence we never had before. We truly tamed this part of the jungle. But that knowledge comes at a price, and the wounds are just as real. Testing in production means sometimes we cause a real impact. We've had to have a tough conversations after a messy experiment to justify the cost. And it requires a huge commitment from our people. Ultimately, we believe this trade-off is worth it. By choosing to face the scorpions, we ensure that when the real monster shows up, we're not just ready to survive, we are ready to win. And before I finish my presentation, I'd like to give a thanks to Paweł and Dominik, who are with me today in this audience. They're key players in making this experiment possible. Thank you, guys. And that was for you. And let me share with you my closing thought. Resilience isn't just a feature you ship once. It's a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Thank you.